Hey guys, what's going on? It's Steve. And today I'm back to do my recap about the town hall. And this one is actually going to be a little bit shorter of a recap, and then we're going to look at some other things to do with Splinterlands, because really the town hall this week didn't have any big updates. If you were going to skip one of the town halls, this definitely would have been the week to go ahead and just skip it, because while it was kind of fun to listen to, at the same time it was just not major league updates. So here's kind of the issues that were going on. They decided to go ahead and bring on a lot of devs. Devs are kind of interesting to meet. They sometimes have interesting stories about how they got their jobs, but they're not going to drop any great nuggets on you, right? Because they're literally being told by everybody not to. In fact, the thing that's kind of funny, if you review, the Splinterlands blog, it's a little bit after 9 o'clock at night when I'm filming this, and they didn't put up a recap post. So usually the recap post comes up pretty quick after the town hall. As you can see, 7 days ago it was up. But as of right now, there's no recap post, and it's probably because they're trying to figure out what kind of news to put in there. It was a pretty funny AMA. They did drop a little bit of card art, but I'm not going to go and dig that up because it's not real card art yet. It's just was showing you a characterization of a card that might get added to the game. They didn't really drop any major nuggets of news. I'd say the closest thing we got was like a little bit more information kind of hinted at on validators, that the servers will cost around $20 for you to run, hopefully, that they should be in a Docker container. And if you don't know much what that means, is that generally there's a very easy way to install that into a Linux-based server. I've ran a few master nodes in my history, so I'm sure I'll be able to set one up. I do still plan on buying at least one validator. I might buy two. I know one of the things I want to do today is we're going to take a look at some of the different Splinterlands assets and talk about those. So let me get onto tribal decks. But first, let's go ahead and give away that 1,000 DEC. With each of these recap videos, I do go ahead and do 1,000 DEC spin. I also usually go through the Splinterlands post to make sure I'm not missing anything big. But as you can see, it's not up. I didn't want to delay. Oh, We Are Us. Are you going to hold on to that? Yes, you are. We Are Us. That's a very... actually, I like that name. Let's go ahead and get you your 1,000 DEC. Let's see here. I haven't been actively spending my DEC, so it's built up a little bit to 63,000. As you know, I am a firm believer that DEC is going to head very close to peg, especially if we do not get land before the airdrop ends. So since that's not going to happen, we're probably going to see Dark Energies back down at peg. I have a little bit of a speculation I've shared with a few people, so I know it's been shared out there, and it's that when they come into land, they're talking about introducing a different resources into the game for crafting. There could be somewhere between, you'd have to say at minimum, there's going to be a one for every single set of cards, and like a neutralish one, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there could be a few others here that would be outside of the normal elements that we've already had in the game. Well, each one of those, Matt has hit it, is going to have like a DeFi market. And so when they have a DeFi market, you usually are providing some kind of liquidity pair for those resources. And if those liquidity pairs that they're going to ask us to provide are going to be DEC, that would be pretty cool. That also could be the first time, maybe for a little bit, you see them do some incentives for doing liquidity pools. I talked about a long time ago, they did have some incentives for the ETH, putting ETH and DEC into the Uniswap pool when they first needed to get one going there, and they were giving us free DEC, and eventually they even gave us free land plots for staking in there. So it was a really good deal. I don't know if they'll do something pretty cool like that, but as you know, that's why I've given away a lot of those lands, including some live on Luke's stream. I should be on that this week again, as long as everything goes smooth on Thursday. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, and it'll be a lot of fun. Now, getting a little bit more that went into the town hall, the main thing that it did, in my opinion, was offer us a lot of different chances to meet new people. So we met a couple devs. We had Weirdbeard come out, and he talked about tournaments, and that they're looking to, the main thing that he's looking to do is to get the tournaments to start to have bigger prize pools by bringing outside money in aka sponsorships or other kinds of ways that they can do that. He also talked a lot about doing KYC tournaments because people want to make sure that the bigger money tournaments don't have any win trading going on in them or any bots participating in them, or at least if somebody is going to run a bot, they're only going to be able to run one, and that's on their main account that they KYC. I don't know if they'll be able to ban a bot from actually playing, but you wouldn't be able to have somebody enter like 20 or 30 accounts unless he found a way to KYC those 20 or 30 accounts. Then he'd be pretty good at fraud. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Well, we did now hear that the new ranked reward system, which does seem to be the really exciting thing that'll be coming out. It was going to be the end of April, they said. Now it's looking at to be the end of May. I kind of saw this coming. I kind of mentioned that Nate, who wasn't there today and usually provides a lot of commentary, he usually tells us that creative just needs a little bit more time to get the UI stuff ready to be able to get everything set up. They do have some new UI improvements, which are kind of interesting with the champion leagues and the different league details. They're trying to change these up so that it's not just the same ones. They also, if you go over here to the events, you can look at to the tournaments, and now they do have some kind of interesting little things here to let you know if it's a wild tournament, so it's all cards available, or let you know if it's a modern tournament. And these ones would also now bring your eye to these are Splinterlands tournaments for sure, but also these ones here you have to look out for, like the chicken, because this one is a special Splinterlands tournament. I kind of forgot to do tournaments because I got too busy and I wasn't competing in them, and I was forgetting to enter my teams. I'm going to go ahead and try a few out. I was actually kind of bummed. I really wanted to try these diamond tournaments because I thought it would be pretty cool, but I'm actually in Champion League because we're near the end of the season, and as you can see, I'm hanging out in the middle of Champion 3 trying to make that final push in the next few days up to Champion 2, and I probably won't place on the leaderboard. Let's see, where am I at right now? A couple days ago, I was laughing because I was 25th. I'm 58, but it's like a weird 58, right? Because see, all these low power accounts, they could always undelegate their cards at the end of the season, and then they're just going to pop right back into place. So while this low power thing might stop them from earning rentals for like a couple days, I don't think it's doing what they wanted. So I'd like to see that changed. And basically, if you go into low power at all, I feel like you should get knocked off of the leaderboard completely. If you decide that you wanted to stop competing in the leaderboard, stop trying to move up, and you've gone down into low power by delegating all your cards away to another account or renting them all out, then maybe you should just have to forfeit your leaderboard rewards. Because I have, how hard is it going to be to catch any of these people when I'm playing? They're not even going to be playing me, right? I can't even play any of these low power people. And then they're going to come back and they're going to push me into like the 70s in ranking in reality, right? I really haven't been doing that well this season. I'm only 7 wins over 40 losses, but I did have a couple only 5 streaks. This is why these bigger streaks have always freaked me out, because I'm not a terrible player, but usually eventually you make a mistake. But I have to admit, on my Gold Steve account, I've learned a little bit that if you are somebody with every single card playing in silver, you're probably getting to play Jotun and Llama and Kitty against a bunch of people that don't have Jotun, Llama, Kitty. And I don't get to do that up in Diamond and Champion, right? Everybody has Llama, Jotun, and Kitty pretty much. So I'm not used to the idea of like my Kitty getting to pick on regular summoners. So that has changed my mind a little bit and letting me know that maybe they can push those bigger win streaks, and I'm starting to trust that a little bit more for those players like Yue and Chapoon, because I think they're just really just picking on people that just don't have the same cards as them for a lot of those matches. And then when they do get matched up against somebody else who's kind of doing that in silver, they are good enough and practiced enough that they're usually going to beat them, but they probably really dominate many matches. I know this is a little bit off topic, but again, going back to the AMA, one of the other things that I'll just talk about briefly is that they had the head of product on. That was an interesting position, and he was kind of interesting to listen to. Really, the only reason to go back to this AMA is if you really want to meet some new members of the team. I think those aren't bad AMAs to do. It's nice to see the team. It's nice to hear their ideas of how things work. Agro kept on mentioning that this AMA/Town Hall was kind of about showing us how the sausage is made and showing them these new team members and letting those team members talk about what they're doing, because I think they're trying to counter the you know, hey guys, it's taking forever, it's taking forever, it's taking forever. He's like, look at these new faces, look at these new people, look what we're doing. We're doing this as fast as we can. And like I said, things are slipping a little. When Matt first talked about the ranked rewards change, he wanted it out end of April. Today's AMA, they said we're looking more like around the end of May now. He did talk a little bit too about how, you know, he knows that land is delayed, but he has to have all these other pieces built into the game first. You need to have the non-card market, and Matt needs time really to build out all the smart contracts if he's really going to be creating a DeFi world with all these DEC pairs against the different types of crafting materials. Now, given it could be SPS paired, but I'm just wondering, what do you think they would pair? Let me know. DEC to the land materials, or SPS. It would give DEC another use case. It would help a lot of it come off the market, help it hold its peg if it's starting to lose it, and then it would also give it some demand as people wanted to buy it up to go ahead and put it into these liquidity pools, which could, in theory, for a little while, give us a nice little few months where we're earning a lot extra from the game. All right, guys, I don't know if there's anything else from the town hall I want to really harp on. If I'm forgetting anything, please leave it in the comments for me, and I'll try to include it in one of my next videos about Splinterlands. But it definitely didn't feel like something that really had a whole bunch of breaking news. It was more of a, hey, meet the team, learn how we're doing things, learn some of our new ideas. And one other thing is they were doing the master of FOMOing by just telling you there are almost all of them said there are some major announcements coming out soon, and they wish they could tell us, but they can't tell us yet. So that's kind of their jobs, right? If they're not going to be doing anything super exciting, then let's go ahead and get into the let's go ahead and pump them up for the next week, or a week that we are going to have something super exciting. Something you might see on my account this week, I started using the Splinterttools. It only cost one hive to try it out for a month, so I decided to try it out for a month to see if it really helps you. I do think that it's helped me become a bit of a better player when I'm using it, but I just don't always take the time to use it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Basically, the big thing it can do is that when a team beats you, you can use it to go ahead and play around with some different decks against that team that would have a better chance to win. And then you can kind of remember, hey, in that kind of game mode, I typically see this a lot. This is a team that in theory can counter that with at least a chance to win. It's also nice to see sometimes you can go ahead and check your battles and see if you had a really good team. So as you can see here in this match I lost, I could click here and it opens up the Splinterttools. So this is just a little preview, and I can hit predict, and it can say the team I made had a 0% chance to win. So basically this team here had no chance to beat this team here. And then what I could do is I could take him away and I could build another team. I'm not going to do this live, and then I could hit predict again, and I could see the win rate percentage about beating this team. Now this was one of my my matches from my recent brawl. I actually went 4-3, which wasn't too bad. To be honest, once you get gladiator cards in the brawl session, there's just some matches you lose or win because you don't have them. The other thing this can do is you can go ahead and you can save a lot of decks for different manas. I haven't used that part of it because I've been just a little bit too lazy. But if you save a whole bunch of decks over time that you really like, then when you go ahead and get a matchup of a certain mana set, it will show you the kind of decks that you've used in the past. So I do definitely see how this would be kind of a similar tool for someone to use if they wanted to be like UA or Shampoo, who have their spreadsheets and spreadsheets and spreadsheets and spreadsheets. Well, that's a way to do it that's maybe a little bit easier would be to use the Splintertool settings app and go ahead and just have a bunch of different saved decks and things like that. Now, it doesn't give you obviously it doesn't let you make a team and see its win percentage versus the player you're playing, because it doesn't have any kind of way to toggle the other team. It can give you, it can sometimes show you historically how that team has done for you and if it's a good team. And then after you do a win, so if I go down to a win here, you can also see, like, did you get lucky, or is that a really good team? And if it's a really good team, then maybe you can save it. So this was 100% win rate right here. There was no way I was going to lose against a llama match. So that's a kind of an interesting one. I'm not going to bother saving these because there's gladiator cards in them, but that might be a case where I'm like, you know what? I should probably save this, because it turned out to be a really powerful deck. Now, let's go take a look at the ecosystem. So we have dark energy crystals heading back down to that 0.001. We're down 2%. We're at 159. I hope you all were always, getting out of dark energy crystals, unless you were just comfortable with the fact that they would go back down to peg, because they still do get you a lot of SPS in the airdrop. I would argue that you probably could have been selling it, buying SPS and staking the SPS, and getting close to, if not the same return on that SPS from staking and buying it when DEC was a lot higher. SPS, we had a pump in SPS when validators were announced, and now we're coming back down a little bit. I'm expecting another pump once we actually get an announcement of when the validators will get sold, and we'll probably see this head somewhere up near around 20 cents during that time. So this isn't a bad place to be picking some up if you're somebody who trades, but it's also not a bad place to go ahead and pick one up if you're thinking about buying a validator node, because if this coin almost goes up double and you buy 60 to 75% of what you need to buy a validator node today, and then it almost goes up to double, then all of a sudden you've already paid for it. Or if you buy enough today to buy it and then are holding it and it goes up more, you're able to get that, not to spend it all, and then you'll have some tokens left to maybe stake or do something else with. Now, that's all speculation. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But SPS, the tokens tend to pump around announcements, and then they come back down a little bit. And then when you can actually use them for that use case, people are going to need to be getting this to go ahead and get those nodes. So it's just something to watch out for. Now, usually chaos boosters are starting to finally dip. They were holding $3 for a long time. We're seeing $2.71 for them now. I really was surprised they were selling at $3, and it made me feel really bullish about everything. But now we're seeing packs start to get a little bit cheaper. Now, this is where I might start to come and look to buy some of these packs if they get down into the lower $2 range, and just occasionally add a few packs. I will admit that I sold a few of the packs I got for season rewards when they were around $3, because I was thinking that, if I can get a pack, sell it for $3 and go to the market and buy cards I want when these cards are this cheap, that just makes sense for me. Why open a pack and hope to get a legendary when I can just sell 2 or 3 of the packs and go buy a legendary card, because they were just that cheap at this point. Vouchers spiked back up when SPS went up, and now they're down here at $1.81. I do definitely think if you're not somebody who's getting a lot of vouchers, it does make sense to maybe buy up some vouchers and sell them when they spike if you're looking for some extra funds to be able to put into the game. They have obvious use cases in each of the different tranches for SPS validators, and so they're going to go up when we reach those tranches, and there's going to be people that come in looking to buy a lot of them, and there's just not that much supply. Also, we should have that next promo card coming out, and so we should see this start to head back up again relatively soon. Though, never go 100% into any of these things, because I don't know when the team is actually going to announce anything, and until we get like firm dates on when things will be sold, you're not going to know exactly when these are going to turn around and start to go back up. So just know that. A little look at Starbits. that token is from the Rising Star game that a lot of Hive players who play Splinterlands are trying to play to get extra funds. That token's actually been doing pretty good, probably because they had some special promos going on throughout Easter that are coming to an end soon. So it's just something to note. This person right here is probably trying to pick up some tokens to get a fun little thing. That was just a little bonus. We're at 18 minutes now, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you liked my kind of non-recap of the recap, but there just wasn't anything that I had to tell you that was just that amazing from this week's recap. It was a fun one. If you want to listen to it because you're a fan of Aggroed, you want to learn more about the team, you want to meet more of the team members, you want to understand the different roles and what they've been hired for, they did a great job for that. If you want to hear Weirdbeard's little piece where he talked about doing KYC tournaments and bringing in additional funding. That was fun to hear and good to hear, but he didn't have any big announcements or any big, like, hey, we're having this tournament sponsored by this team or anything like that came out. We didn't have what date anything was coming out or going on sale, and we had a lot of, hey guys, cool things are coming soon. We also were just missing some of the normal faces that I think come and are actually, in the know and able to drop a few extra things. So thanks everybody, and have a good one. Bye.